Hello, everyone. Welcome to Christopher's Entertainment Blog. I am your host, Chris. Welcome to my Jessica Jones Season 1 review. I am going to be reviewing the entire season here. Um, and I actually seen it a few weeks back, so I'm just now doing this review video. So there are certain things I may have forgotten. So if there's anything I forget, please write in the comments below, guys. Um, but I thought, I wasn't sure if I was going to do a review video, but I did one for Daredevil after I watched the whole season, and you can watch that from my what I felt on that show. This show comes along, and once they announced it, I was like, "Wow, I'm excited for this show." And leading up to this show, I was incredibly excited for this show more than I was for Daredevil, and especially because of Kristen Ritter is the lead character. I like her a lot, and then we get the show, and I watch it, and I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed it very much. I thought it was an excellent show. There's some mixed reviews out there with people that either like it or don't like it. Where maybe they like Daredevil more because it did. Daredevil did have a lot more action, and it was more intense in a lot of situations. Where Jessica Jones is more of like an old noir type film, where it's basically she's a detective and trying to solve a mystery here, trying to find out who or what Kilgrave is after. When it begins, I mean, you had no idea what she was afraid of. I mean, what was going on. It was just like, okay, um, who's she? Is she running from someone? I mean, it was just like it was kind of a mystery. I mean, she was just basically a detective, like a PI. It was kind of cool. I was like, okay. Um, and sneaking around and taking pictures and everything of people. And this show kind of shocked me. I mean, it was a lot more graphic and more sexual than I thought it was going to be. I mean, this was a very like TV 14 or like a mature type show. I mean, um, especially for something like Marvel. I mean, if you watch the cinematic universe or Agents of Shield or whatever, and even Daredevil. I mean, Daredevil was very graphic with a lot of violence, but I mean, it wasn't overly sexual. Not like this show. I mean, it really gets into it. I was like, wow. So I was like, wow, this is interesting. I enjoyed it. I was not expecting that at all, and so it was a surprise to me. Um, and the whole mystery that she's going through with Kilgrave, and then we finally get to find out Kilgrave is the great actor David Tennant, Doctor Who. I love David Tennant. He's excellent, and he's excellent in this show. I mean, if you want to compare him to Vincent D'Onofrio, who was Kingpin, and the other, that's a hard decision, man. They both do an excellent job. They're two vastly different characters. But man, it is hard to compare the two to say which one's better. I mean, that is a tough decision because they both were insane. Um, but because they're both just unbelievably just violent. I mean, so it's hard for me. I can't pick. I can't pick right now. But the character of Kilgrave, I mean, you see like a glimmer of hope in Kilgrave there. Like he wants to be a hero, especially I forget what episode that was where Jessica Jones is like living with him, and then she tries to maybe turn him into a hero, takes him to that kidnap situation, and then he diffuses that, and then he gets the idea like, well, maybe we can be hero, we can be a team. And she was seriously thinking about that, but then she was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Um, but I mean, you see, like after that, I mean, he like gets people to like cut their heads off and arms off, and gets people to kill each other and slice each other up and jump off of buildings. I mean, he's like a violent dude. I mean, and then even the situation of rape comes into it, where Jessica Jones says, you raped me every time. So I mean, it's like, wow. I mean, this is like really intense. But and then we also get thrown in there with other situations. Carrie Ann Moss was excellent in this show. Her character Jerry, the lawyer, very just like a lawyer. She's very creepy, and just overall, trying everything she's trying to do for her like ex-wife or whatever, and then trying to get her to sign those divorce papers. And she tells Jessica Jones to scare her, and just like, wow, I mean, these characters are just dark, man, very dark. Um, and then that scene where she's being cut up like 1,000 times. It's just like, wow, this is intense show. And then you get other characters. Malcolm, the character Malcolm, is like a drug addict, and he's been Kilgraved, to spy on Jessica Jones. So he's like this addict. He's slowly being killed by Kilgrave. I mean, very dark stuff. I mean, you have Will, um, who is also Kilgraved, um, and it's just like he can't really handle it, and so he goes on this like rampage at the end. I mean, who are these guys that give him like these combat enhancing drugs? It's just like, what is that group all about, and where did they take him? And then that whole scene in that one episode where they're fighting in her apartment, that was like an intense scene. They're busting through the walls and everything, and it was just like, wow, this is very cool show, very violent too. Um, that was great. The character Trish was great as well. I liked her. She was like this sister. The one thing that Jessica Jones really loves and cares about is her like stepsister or whatever, or foster sister or whatever. Trish. I mean, they're kind of opposite of each other, but they get along, and it's just like, okay. And she was great in the show as well. Um, Luke Cage, man. I like Mike Colder, man, as Luke Cage. Worked very well. I wasn't sure of what that was going to be like with him as Luke Cage, but it turned out great, man. I can't wait to see his show now. What's that going to be about? Um, so and finding out, he took the saw blade to himself, and she shot him in the face with like a shotgun. I mean, very cool character, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones and his relationship, that whole situation going on. It's very complicated, and he finds out that Jessica Jones killed his wife, because she was, under the control of Kilgrave. I mean, a lot of complicated stuff going on there. And then that whole ending thing with him being under the control of Kilgrave, and how she had to shoot him, and how she was just brokenhearted that she had to do that. And he's okay though. I mean, he took her like an explosion. I mean, it was like, come on. I mean, at least a shotgun not going to kill him. But yeah, guys. I don't know if there's anything I might have missed. I mean, insane. There's so much stuff happening in this show. Um, I can't wait, man. I can't wait until Rosario Dawson. I just thought Rosario Dawson. I forget her character's name in Daredevil, but she made an appearance at like the final episode or whatever of this show, and I think that's a nice transition that she's going. She was in Daredevil. She was the last episode of this show, and I think she's going to be involved with the Luke Cage show as well. So she's like revolving around all these different characters. Very cool. Um, and they did make references. They made slight references to the Marvel, like the flag waver, or the big green guy. I mean, they don't really come out and say the Hulk or Captain America or the Chitauri attack on New York. I mean, they just say the incident. So I mean, they're making these references, but they're kind of distancing themselves just in case um, they can't really use them in any of the movies, or they're not going to use them, because I think that is kind of complicated on how you take this very grounded type of shows and put them in a very more lighthearted type world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That can be hard, and they're distancing themselves from that, but then they're making references just in case they have to, if they want to do it. So that's kind of cool. Um, and yeah, guys, I mean, there was just a great show, excellent show, and at the end, where Jessica Jones just kills Kilgrave, just like, and that was it. And I was just like, one thing I was like, well, wait a minute, doesn't he have like people like ready to kill themselves if he's killed. So I mean, that was the one thing I was just like, okay, kind of weird that they did that. I thought it would be a little bit more complicated than that, but it's unfortunate we're not going to see David Tennant anymore. I mean, we will. I think we will see Vincent D'Onofrio's character because he just went to jail. Kingpin on Daredevil. So I mean, how does no? I mean, what's the next threat now for Jessica Jones? I mean, that's the question here. Um, but I mean, her overall character was great too. How she wants to do good, but she's like an anti-hero where she don't give a crap about anything, But she does. I mean, she does care. I mean, you see her helping people all the time throughout the episode, and very upset people die and this and that. But she's got this attitude where then she don't care in a lot of the situations. I mean, she's ready to sacrifice herself, go to prison or whatever to get the Kilgrave or whatever. And she's all. I mean, if she didn't really care, she would have just killed him and not cared about anybody else. But she does care, but she hides it very well. And it should be very interesting when this character gets together with Daredevil and the Defenders and that whole situation. That I was really hoping that Daredevil would have showed up like as a lawyer or something. Charlie Cox. I thought he was going to make a cameo. I thought, well, she needs a lawyer, and I was like, oh, go get him, go get Daredevil. I thought that's what was going to happen, but it never did. But at least we've seen the other character, Rosario Dawson's character, that it still worked out and kind of connected those two characters together, and we'll get to that down the line. And then but now we're coming up. We got other great Marvel Netflix shows. We got Daredevil season 2. We got Luke Cage coming up. We got Iron Fist. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming up, guys. And I can't wait to see we see Defenders. Where they actually come together as one big team. So that should be kind of cool. But yeah, guys, a lot of stuff happening in this show that I know I didn't touch on. With Trisha's mother and how she was like abusive and all that, and that whole background, and Jessica Jones' family and how she got her powers and that whole situation. And it's just like, wow, there's a lot of stuff not to be covered. Or I'm not covering in this video, but overall, I really enjoyed the show. I actually personally I liked it a little more than Daredevil. I really did, and I like Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones. I mean, she's the one that it was on her back, man. She carried this show. It was her show, and it worked out well. And I'm happy that she's Jessica Jones. It works out very well. I think she does a very good job. So I really hope they have a season 2. I really hope they have a season 2. But yeah, guys, please write in the comments anything I might have missed, which I know I have, because there's a lot of stuff that's happening in this show. So, I mean, we got 13 episodes. I mean, it's hard for me to review all 13. But overall, excellent show. I really enjoyed it. Please write in the comments below if you liked it or not, or if there's anything I might have missed. Please write in the comments. Also, please like and share this video. I really would appreciate that, guys. But that will do it for me for this review video, guys. I am Chris for Christopher's Entertainment Blog. Thanks a lot, guys. Take it easy.